Hey everyone, and welcome straight into today's Explainer. We are unpacking something that is as absolutely fascinating as it is consequential, and that's the Mubarak Sani case in Pakistan. Look, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill lawsuit. It's really a profound look at this incredibly complex intersection where religious sensitivities, constitutional law, and the strict judicial process all collide. How exactly does a nation navigate that space where deeply held faith and the rigid black-and-white letters of the law stand face to face? It's a massive national conversation, and we're going to break the whole thing down for you step by step.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The intersection. 2. The friction point. 3. The system's safety valves. And finally, 4. The way forward. Starting things off with Section 1. The intersection where a law meets belief.
So, like we said, the Mubarak Sani case is a lot more than a standard legal dispute. It's this critical crossroads where the Constitution of Pakistan, the Supreme Court, and deeply held faith all converge on the exact same question. The Constitution places immense importance on the finality of prophethood, Khatme Nabuwat, but it also distinctly defines the legal status of minority groups through specific amendments. It's a powerful reminder that a strong state isn't just built on borders or an army. It's built on a foundation of profound respect for both justice and foundational beliefs.
But here is where it gets really tricky. While the Constitution absolutely values those religious sensitivities and the sanctity of faith, the judicial system has a very rigid, specific mandate, right? It literally has to base its decisions entirely on hard evidence, established law, and written legal clauses. Finding that perfect equilibrium, honoring the highest religious values while maintaining strict adherence to legal procedure, that is the ultimate balancing act for any judiciary.
Which brings us right to our second section, the friction point, information in the digital age.
Think about how we actually consume information today. There is this stark contrast between the two worlds. On one hand, you have complete judicial decisions, these historically dense documents packed with context, evidence, and incredibly intricate legal reasoning. And on the other hand, social media snippets. They are purely emotional, inherently incomplete, and engineered to spread like wildfire. To put that into perspective, research shows false or incomplete information spreads up to 6 times faster on social media than the actual truth. So in highly sensitive cases like this one, public opinions are formed almost instantly, often without anyone actually reading a single page of the full legal text.
I want to highlight a quote from the source material that really hits the nail on the head. Does the public get the full details of a judicial decision, or do just a few excerpts in social media posts shape opinions? Seriously, let that sink in for a second. When a nuanced, complex legal ruling gets boiled down to a 280-character post or, a 10-second out-of-context video clip, that lack of information wildly accelerates misunderstandings. It completely blurs the line between a verified fact and a raw emotional reaction.
All right, moving into Section 3, the system's safety valves, navigating disagreement.
So what happens when there is public or institutional disagreement with a judicial ruling? Because there will be. Well, chaos is definitely not the answer. The Constitution actually provides clear, structured avenues for this exact scenario. First, you've got legal review to reassess a ruling. Then, the appeal process to escalate it. And ultimately, legislative reform through Parliament if the public deems a law inadequate. These are built-in constitutional safety valves, designed specifically to manage dissent so it doesn't destabilize the whole nation.
And the crucial takeaway here is this. Disagreement within the legal framework is actually the sign of a strong state. Actually, scratch that. It's more than a sign. It's a feature. Expressing differences through these established channels doesn't weaken the national fabric. It strengthens it. It proves that the institutions can absorb debate, process it, and resolve it through the rule of law instead of through unrest. Let's wrap things up with Section 4, the way forward, collective responsibility.
The source text provides this absolutely incredible insight. Responsible media and an informed public are the guarantees of democracy. It warns us that, in matters of immense religious and constitutional sensitivity, a single incomplete clip, or even just one rushed sentence, can spark societal divisions. And we're talking about divisions that can literally take years to heal. So the burden of responsibility doesn't just sit on the judge's shoulders. It falls heavily on how the media reports the facts, and honestly, how we as the public consume that reporting.
The sources stress a fundamental rule. Truth cannot be hidden, and facts remain facts. Sensationalism might win the hour on social media, for sure, but responsible reporting, taking the time to verify sources and seek out the unbiased truth, that is what ultimately builds a secure and trusting society.
So I've got to ask you, directly, right now, Do you verify your sources of information before reacting? When you see a fiery post about a sensitive court case pop up on your feed, do you hit share immediately, or do you take a breath and try to find the original source document? Being actively reflective about our own media habits is literally the first step toward becoming that informed public the sources are talking about.
Because here's the thing. Peace is not simply just silence. As the sources profoundly state, true peace and faith are guaranteed by fair, merit-based decisions. When justice is administered free from bias, pressure, or prejudice, and naturally fosters societal harmony and national progress. Ultimately, justice is the very thing that protects the faith and peace of the society it serves.
To sum it all up, the whole shebang of a strong state really rests on three main pillars: respect for the law, honoring religious sensitivities, and maintaining national unity. The biggest takeaway from today's explainer is that these are not opposites. They aren't fighting each other. They are entirely complementary forces, and you absolutely need all three standing together to uphold a peaceful society.
As we close out, the source material leaves us with a few rapid-fire challenges. First, can we actually prefer research over emotion? When our deepest values feel challenged, can we force ourselves to look at the facts in the legal text before having a knee-jerk reaction?
Second, can we turn disagreement into dialogue instead of chaos? Can we actually utilize those built-in constitutional safety valves we talked about earlier, rather than taking to the streets or just spreading vitriol online? And finally, the ultimate question for all of us to ponder: can we maintain the delicate balance between the Constitution, the law, and our national unity? It is a massive, thought-provoking question. And at the end of the day, it is entirely up to us, as an informed public, to answer it through our everyday actions and our civil discourse. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those tough questions, keep verifying those facts, and we'll see you next time.